Just recently, we covered on Media Shots a story that you'd done a partnership with Abode Media,
Yes.
which was getting, which puts screens into premium places like upmarket apartment blocks, and your deal with them means that you're able to connect brands with those affluent, homeowners and visitors to those places.
Yeah.
What else is on the horizon in terms of the premium market for VIOOH?
VIOOH, yeah. So the point here actually is that we are first of all, we are an SSP, supply side platform for digital out-of-home screens, which means that we are selling in a programmatic fashion the digital impressions to digital buyers.
Yeah.
And so to put it very, very simply, in the same way as the ads are sold or traded in real time on every single digital device. So that's the core of what we are doing, and we do that in 38 markets all across the globe. That's obviously Europe, that's South America, the US, Canada, China, Australia, you name it, many, many places. Now, what you are raising as a question is a pretty interesting one. What we're aiming at doing, because we are selling to digital buyers, is to be able to sell audiences.
Right.
As you know, an audience is not just in one spot, one place. They're actually moving, they are living, they are traveling from point A to point B, and therefore we cannot just work with one kind of environment. We need to have a diversity to be able to have a complementary approach, to be able to really engage with the right audiences our buyers want in the right way at the right moment, which means the more diverse, the greater diversity, of screens we have helps us to really achieve that.
It's interesting because it sounds to me like we're getting towards a place where, for example, if I travel from one end of the world to the next and I bump into a friend, it's nice that they've shown up. So if a brand shows up as I'm traveling from one place to another and they're kind of I'm seeing that they're there, does that provide an additional layer of trust and comfort? Is that what's being sold as well?
Or you are now meaning going on to something which is very, very interesting, because what you've said in your sentence, so first the answer is yes, but what you've said in your sentence is bringing the notion of trust.
Yes.
And I absolutely believe that in an era where AI, fake news, images that you see that may not actually be real, right? And we understand that there was a lot of noise around deep fakes and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
I think that people are more and more in search of authenticity, trusted interactions. And in that kind of context, out-of-home billboards, out-of-home ads are actually bringing a trustworthiness that some media, meaning, have lost. TV used to have that, right? You would remember some ads before you may have seen in a newspaper, seen on TV, that was there, right? Because it was just to reinforce.
That was an expression, as seen on TV, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And actually you do not see that anymore. And I think that the fact that the audience on linear TV have been dropping is creating a bit of a context for there is the next expectation of what is the right broadcast media to really bring this kind of trust into the message. And that's actually something which I think that out-of-home can bring.
Now, we're hanging out here in the lobby of the Martinez Hotel, taking a bit of refuge from the canicule that's been over the whole of France for the last few days. But out there on the Croisette, what sort of things have you been picking up this week and seeing, and themes and ideas that you're taking away with you from Cannes?
So there are quite a lot of trends, right? First one is, it's absolutely obvious that you've got many, many brands which are actually back to what we were saying, pushing the notion of in real life is something important, and that brings something a bit additional, a bit richer, a bit more interesting than just a pure digital interaction. There was an ad from Pinterest which was reading less URL, more IRL, more in real life.
Yeah.
And I think that is absolutely brilliant, because we can see that all the Gen Z generations, which obviously the people that all the brands want to engage with, they are craving for that. So we are here talking about a medium that can bring that back in the center of the discussion. So that's one big trend. And the second big trend has been the, everybody's talking about agentic AI, how that's going to actually be changing the game and so on and so forth. There is a lot to be said on that. We are working on some projects which I would love, obviously, to share with you. But yeah, meaning I think these are the two biggest trends.
And just finally, it's been quite a big show this year, quite a big event. It felt like there were more people than previous years. Is it still worth coming to Cannes Lions, or?
So you're right. I guess that 15 to 20% more people than last year. Last year was more people than the year before. So I think that Cannes is getting back on track. You know that they've been meaning several kind of big events like this one, not as big in terms of size, but you got Possible in Miami.
In Miami, yeah.
So it seems that there is a bit more competition now, but in the greater scheme of things, I think that Cannes remains Cannes, right? People know that that's the way where they're going to be meeting everybody from the industry, be they on the buy side, sell side, tech players, and more. So I think that this is still pretty strong, and I think that Cannes is still there for some time, yeah.
Just one last question.
Sure.
We were in London the other week for the Digital Publishing Awards, and I lived in London for 35 years, and I always love it when I see the huge digital billboard at Piccadilly Circus.
Yeah.
What's your favorite digital billboard in the world? Your personal favorite?
So you had meaning a few which were around, well, the one from Pinterest I've just talked about.
Right,
That's
there,
exactly.
yeah.
That one really caught my attention. The additional billboard that I really liked was something where you could put meaning some old bottles, meaning plastic bottles, and you had a wave which was saying that's a way to not to do that, or you can do that on that thing, but don't do that on the sea because
Right,
of all the
okay.
plastic and so on. So this is when obviously the arts can really leverage a medium so that it becomes interactive with the people who can actually understand what the message is.
Great, yeah. So that's kind of like a campaign. But is there a location that's your favorite? Piccadilly
Location.
Circus, one of my favorites. You have Madison Square Garden, Times Square.
Yeah.
You have-
So I think that this is really funny because you've got iconic out-of-home screens. You just have to show them, and you know exactly in which city you are, right?
Yeah.
You've got that in the UK, Piccadilly Circus. You've got that in New York, Times Square.
Yeah.
When it comes to France, this is the Tour Eiffel. So I'm craving to see something. Not just kidding.